that either you will lead your culture or, anybody finish that for me? Culture will lead you. Think about this. Suppose, Carrie, it's your first week on the job. You're pumped up to be part of the bank. And you pull John aside. I've used other names, but I don't know anybody else's name in the room. And you say, hey, John, listen, new here, I'd like to take you out to lunch, ask you a few quick questions. John says, of course, Carrie, let's go to lunch. You sit down at lunch and you ask John the question we've all asked somebody at some point in our professional career, what's it really like here at the bank? And he goes on to tell you, it's great, wonderful place, love what we do, love what we stand for, people are terrific, but one bit of advice, Carrie, if you're ever in a meeting, keep your mouth shut. And you're like, why? And he goes on to tell you about a story about Frank. We used to have a guy named Frank here. Frank spoke up in a meeting once. We haven't seen him since. Thanks for the insight. The next day, you pull, Miss, what's your name? June? Judy. You pull Judy aside. You ask her the same thing. You take her to lunch, ask her the same question, and she gives you the same story about Frank. Carrie, don't ever speak up in a meeting. Frank did it. We haven't seen him since. What is Carrie's belief now about speaking up in meetings? Don't do it. Suppose it's 2 weeks later and she's an expert on the topic. It comes to her turn to speak. What's she going to do? She's going to shut up. She doesn't want to be the next Frank. Can you see how that third-party story became an experience that created a belief for Carrie? Do we tend to validate or invalidate our beliefs? Validate. It only takes 2 instances for it to become a belief in your mind. And then you will take action based upon whatever that belief might be. Every belief that exists about you, every belief that exists about the bank is a result of some experience somebody has had with you or the bank. Beliefs don't just pop out of nowhere. Every belief that people hold about you is a result of an experience you created for people around you. We're going to talk about that in just a bit. If you're only focused on the top 2 layers of this pyramid, the hands and feet, actions, what are you neglecting? Someone said it, the head and the heart. The fact that people think, and why do they think what they think? You know, I don't know if anybody in the room has ever heard the term leadership radar. Leaders that have high leadership radar tend to use a pyramid. They always tend to know what people are thinking around them, what's in the heart of those that they lead. They operate with a pyramid that's 4 layers deep. They have high levels of trust. Leaders and individuals with low leadership radar operate with a pyramid that's 2 layers deep. And they tend to have very low levels of trust.